Hello, people of the internet. I'm bored, and by bored, I mean I'm trying to procrastinate against doing my dissertation. So I was like, hey, I had this brief brainwave. Basically, what happened is in like early morning or late night, I am not sure which time which. I was talking to somebody about how much I miss going to parks and how like vivid my park memories were, like playground and like what were my favorite park equipments and stuff. And it turns out I have very, very strong opinions on park equipments. So I'm just gonna tell the internet about it because I'm bored. Um, Number one, and the best park equipment, just 10 on 10, no notes, the swing. Now, hold on, because we need to have a discussion on this. Swings can be bad, but the concept of a swing is spot on. You are, hanging in the air, you're holding onto two chains, and you are being a pendulum, basically. That shit fucking hits, that is just maybe it was just me being a kid being like this, like the motion was very comforting to me. My neurodivergent wasn't as brain, but swings to this day, I miss swinging. I don't think there's any like, hey, swinging for adults. That when you're an adult, swinging means a different thing. It doesn't mean that thing. I'm not gonna explain it. You're gonna Google it yourself. But I miss going on swings. Now, one thing about me is I'm very particular about stuff I like. So I would want to go on the swings, but if the swing was too creaky or if the chains were like audibly screaming for help, I was afraid at any given moment that that swing would fall and I would land on my ass and I would break every bone in my body. So I was like, I'm not gonna fuck with that swing. So I was like, okay, let that 2-year-old have it. I'm not going to do it. Also, I also get extremely nervous when I was swinging and there were kids around, because if I don't control myself, because those kids are going to be kids and it's a playground. And again, when I'm talking about myself, I'm talking about myself when I was like 13, 14 or something, and I looked like I was 12. I still do, but um I would be so afraid that I would kick a child, because those children don't like. There's a reason why their moms constantly have to sit on top of their head and make sure they don't get themselves hurt. As a child who has had several experiences of like, oh my god, how did you survive? Props to all the moms in the world, because kids are so dumb and they're so like ready to explore and ready to like find new stuff, and so they're gonna get kicked in the face by me swinging. Because I like, as soon as I figured out how to swing on my own and not get anyone's help, I was like, I don't want anyone to talk to me. My mom took me to the playground to go like make friends, but I was like, fuck no, I'm gonna sit on the swing and I'm gonna swing until my legs are so high up and I don't need anybody's help. Once I learned how to swing on my own, like using the back and forth motion, I was like, it's a wrap. I don't want to talk to my mom. I don't want to talk to any of the other people here. I'm just gonna be silent and be on the swing. Not even any music or anything, just silent on the swing, which in retrospect seems like a really creepy thing, but I just liked it. I still will like it, although now I would want music, because otherwise, the miseries will start creeping into my brain. But I would be so afraid I was going to kick a child in the face. And once I almost did, and after that, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to come. And at that point, also, I was getting old enough that I was like, oh, I'm too old for parks. So I was like, I'm not going to come to parks. And even if I do come to parks, I'm not going to come to a park during a time when it's filled with children, because those children, it's a place meant for kids. So you as a teenager should not be there. You can loiter like teenagers do, but you as a teenager should not be should not be being a teenager and like injuring the kids. That's bad. Don't do that. But yeah, swing. Now there's different types of swing. When I was a kid, I used to like the swing that had like backings on them, which was meant for toddlers. But I was like, yes, I feel more safe, because park equipment, as much as it fascinates me, also terrifies me. Because that, to me as a kid and even to me now as an adult, death place. Any place I can break a bone or I can get a concussion, death place. I don't like it. Which is so contradictory, but because I love swinging so much. But like, if it was like those fucking those wooden slabs which have like holes in the middle to give it like a rustic feel. The money the money the city gives to you in tax, and you gave like wood planks rustic feel in this public playground. Are you fucking insane? I am scared. I don't want to swing on that. And those goddamn, what were those ones? Oh my god, I saw one somewhere, like a two-seater swing. No ma'am, I'm not gonna trust the kid next to me. And this, by the way, all of these thoughts are like thoughts I remember distinctly having as a child, as like, I'm not trusting that kid next to me. That kid is, because it's supposed to be a joint act. I don't know that kid. That kid is gonna fuck up. And if I go out with the injury, I'm gonna be pissed. If that kid goes out with the injury, worse, because that kid is gonna cry and, be a kid who just got injured. I know I sound like I hate children. I don't. And just to be clear, I'm speaking from the perspective of me as a child. I was a strange child. Normally, children want to make friends and, are okay with getting into scratches and like scrapes and stuff like that. This is what normal children do. I am accepting that I am the strange one. I distinctly remember thinking, wow, I am afraid of getting hurt, and I am afraid of social contact with other kids and what that entails, because I was bad at it. So I would just not make any friends, which defeated the purpose of my mom bringing me to the playground. Which is why when I found like a perfect swing, and this was when I was 16 or something, and my mom took us to a playground which was like mainly supposed to be there for the I think some not basketball, badminton, something court. And my mom was like, oh, she'll play over there and make friends. I didn't. I went to the other side, which was a playground, but on one end was a lone swing, like only one swing, and it was perfect. There was no water underneath where you would get your shoes dirty, because I didn't want that to happen as well. Even as a kid, I was like, if my shoes get dirty, we need to leave. We need to. Sometimes I look back at like my childhood experiences and I'm like, damn, I didn't understand I was neurodivergent so much quicker than both the age and when I did understand. But I was like, mom, if any part of me gets dirty, it's a wrap. We're going to leave. That's actually how my parents forced me to walk, by the way, because I would be crawling everywhere. So my mom and dad used to take me outside after it rained. So as soon as my palms used to touch on the mossy and like wet ground outside, I would immediately stand up and start walking, because I was like, I'm not getting my hands dirty. Anyways, that perfect swing, no water underneath, no creaky chains, perfect seat. It didn't have a backing, but it was like wide enough that I didn't feel like my ass was gonna slip off it. And it went so high. And honest to God, I spent an hour and 45 minutes just swinging on there. Not talking to anyone, just swinging on there. And at this point, I think my mom had realized that, like, she's in her own world, let her be in her own world. So when I came back, she was like, you spent like almost 2 hours swinging on that. Do you feel good? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay, let's go home. So we went home. Anyways, speaking of me not being able to have any friends, segue to the next pack equipment, seesaw. I was talking to my friends, they were like, seesaw was so fun. Yeah, because you had friends. I fucking didn't. And if I went with my sister and both of us were seesawing, we both got tired real quick, because it was not fun. It's like you go up and then you go down. And I am someone who is like almost against anyone, my sister, any other friend, stranger in the park, child who is younger than me. I would always be the lighter one, because I'm really underweight or like whatever. So I would just be stuck in the air, and once that you're stuck in the air, then the dudunk, and then you hit it fucking hurts, dude. And then like it didn't used to hurt me in like my lower regions or whatever, but like my legs would bang against the metal thing and it would fucking hurt. Anyways, this is definitely not coming from me not having any friends in the playground. That's definitely not the reason. But I don't like seesaws. It's just like you go up and you go down. Great, we understand gravity and what a fulcrum does. Can we leave? I don't care. I'm trying to think of park equipment. I'm fully just blanking. Oh my god, slides. Let's go. Now, there's multiple type of slides. I am a park equipment scholar apparently, but there were multiple slides. Number one, plastic slide, the normal one, classic, everyone loves it. You go up, you go down, gravity takes care of it. It's great. The plastics ones were also, if they had like been rubbed down, like if they had like grooves into them and like basically friction, if it did its job and it was no longer smooth, it was a bit like, oh, it didn't go as fast as I wanted to. But they wouldn't get overly heated like the fucking metal slides would. Who in Why would you make metal slides? I'm sure there is an actual reason of this. I'm hoping there's an actual reason for this. But why do people make metal slides? I live in goddamn India. Do you know how fucking hot it gets here? You go on the metal slide, your ass is burnt. And because you're not gonna come to the park in like sweatpants or like a track suit unless when you're like unless you're jogging or something, or just like meeting with friends or your significant other in the park. You're gonna come in like shorts and like a shirt to get dirty in, because all your parents are like, oh yeah, they're going to go and have fun and get dirty and get scraped and whatever. Again, reminding people, I did not like getting good dirty, and I did not like getting even just like a bit of injury. I hated that. So those hot ass slides, your entire thigh is burnt, and for some reason they're playing Labyrinth out front. Hold on, what the fuck? Sorry, they were just playing Labyrinth. They were just playing the Euphoria soundtrack for some reason. Anyways, what was I talking about? Hot ass fucking slides. Ooh, it truly, I guess it's like you go down slower. Then my audio levels are so fucked right now. I'm gonna have to spend so much time like anyways, the hot ass fucking slides, I used to hate those bitches. Now, I don't know how prevalent these are in like other countries, but in India we used to have those roller slides which were made up of like small rollers, which so when you slide you can go so I don't know. I can't think of an adjective to describe that feeling. It would be bumpy basically. But I used to love those fuckers. Hold on. You might be thinking, the general pattern that I have conceived of you through you talking right now would not be that. But listen to me. The plastic ones were fine. The metal ones, again, horrible. Not only is it hot, but it's like hot branding on the back of my metal slides. If I see it in a park, I should set it on fire. I hate those bitches. But those roller ones, I would like them, but in a set quantity. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do it 5 times or like 6 times, then I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore, because like it would start to hurt. I don't think they were meant to do it for longer, but kids would do it, and then they would be like, ow, like the back of my leg hurts, because you went on there like for like solid 20 minutes going up and down and up and down and up and down. Now, the bane of my existence was those big ass slides, which were like, a swirl ones. When they constructed that first in the prison, in the park near my house, when they constructed that, kids went insane. They were like, it's a fucking spiral slide, which you would normally see in like amusement parks, or like water parks. They were like, we have this in our neighborhood. Oh my god. So all the kids went insane. So we were like, yeah, of course we're gonna go. Now, is it fun? Yes. Because it's like, of course, it's a spiral thing, and also it has pretty high walls, so like you aren't really in a danger of like falling out. As I got older, I was like, yeah, no, this thing is fucked. Because now when you stay with me, hold my hand, we're gonna go on a journey together. You are walking towards the slide. You can't see any kids on it. You're like, oh, the slide must be empty. Number one thing you do when you go to the slide is check if there's fucking leaves and water in there. Because if it has rained, or if any tree is shedding any leaves, it is going to get collected over there. Fine, it's your lucky day, you can't see anything. You climb up top. You're like, okay, time for me to go down the slide. You go down the slide, there's a fucking child in the middle like, okay, I get the child instinct to stop in the middle of a slide and just sit there. It's like children like to defy the laws of gravity and just the laws of nature. It's a very fun thing to do and very fun kid thing to do. To this day, like if I'm going down a slight surface, you want to go back up that surface, back the way you came rather than taking the ladder. Is it called ladder? In some cases, it was steps, but like having steps was like, okay, you're a pussy. Why can't you climb a ladder? This is me, by the way. But child me didn't think this. Child me liked the steps. I'm just old and a bitch right now, but kids love just being like, okay, this is the way it's supposed to be. I'm gonna go the opposite way, and I understand the kid instinct to do that. But here's the thing, I didn't see you when I approached, because again, high walls. So I didn't see you. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go on this like it's my normal business. Now, if you're a child and you're going down a slide, you're going to want to push off with as much force as possible because you want to go down as much fast as possible. But if in the middle there is a child, that's going to be fucked up, because then you have two choices. Either you can grind out your grind yourself to a halt by using your heels or like the edge of the slide or whatever, and get friction burns on your palms, which I have multiple times because of this incident. Or most probably you have to push that child along with you to the bottom of the slide. And I was like, listen, sometimes the kid does that because they want it to happen. Like I remember doing that with my cousins, where like my cousins and then my sister would stack in the middle of the slide, and then I would come in the end, and then all of us would slide one by one. And like it's cute and stuff, but it's a random child, and I don't want to hurt this child, and I don't want to get hurt. Again, these are thoughts I am having at the same age as these children, because I was so afraid that I was going to hurt somebody or hurt myself, and I did not want it to happen. Anyways, those slides, it's always like a gamble. Is there going to be a small child in there that is hopefully not going to get hurt, but it'll be a nice laugh of both of us sliding down and being like, oh, okay. More the older I get, the more I'm like, damn, every single parent who takes care of kids deserves like some medal, because kids will take every opportunity to try things that you're like, every generation comes up with new ideas and schemes, shenanigans, buffoonery that the previous generation had not computed, and will do them. So the parents would be like, oh, nothing would have prepared me for this. Like nothing prepares you for it. Kids will always surprise you. I'm the eldest of how many cousins? 6, 8? Always surprising. Kids will always surprise you no matter what. I think at the age of like 12, I understood the frailty of human mortality, and I was like, I don't want to do anything to like risk any harm to myself or to people around me. Speaking of harm to myself, I'm fucking this up with these good ass segues, man. But monkey bars. Hate those. Hey, those are not good. Now you might be thinking, oh no, it's a good exercise, and the monkey bars are there in like gyms as well to train upper body strength. Number one, I have no upper body strength. I have zero. I have maybe shoulder strength because I go to school in India, and our school bags are like 10 kg each when we were in high school and stuff. But upper body strength, no. Even as a kid, like when they were like, oh, go on the monkey bars, fuck no, it's so high off the ground. I mean, now probably it's not that high off the ground. Like in a kid's playground, I'm probably the same height as it, but as a kid, that height was frightening to me. And other kids would just be like, either they would go hanging off it or they would go over it. Both options were not viable for me. I was like, no, I'm not gonna be doing that, because I'm gonna fall and I'm gonna break my arm or something. And when I was a kid, I was so afraid of missing school. I once missed school for, I don't know, for some like pretty serious illness, and every morning I would go to my mom and I would be like, can I go to school today? And she would say no, and I would start crying. I wish I had the same mentality now in college, but I was like, I'm not risking anything bodily harm to myself. And they were like, oh no, go with your cousin. And I was like, no, it's not a thing of like, I don't trust the adults around me, or like I don't trust like my friends or the kids around me. I don't trust the inherent nature of the universe. Because I think at some point I realized that, I will fall and something will happen, and it's like, I'm not trying that. I'm not gonna even do that. Why? I don't want to risk it. And now, like, my mom is like, if you could have done that when you were younger, you would have good upper body strength. That's not how it works, okay? And my mom was like, okay, don't use upper body strength, go over it. That's worse. I'm like fully like horizontal parallel to the monkey bars and to the ground. That's frightening. I'm not gonna do that. My monkey bars fear was so genuinely bad that, like, once, I don't know where my mom and my sister was, but my grandfather took me to like this huge park, like some kilometers away, and it had, like, it wasn't a monkey bar exactly, it was like a monkey bar created castle, if that makes sense. It was a castle made up of like metal, bars and stuff. And so he was like, do this. And that one was much easier because it was like semicircular, and also there were like, since it was built like a castle and then a castle bridge, there were like bars to hold on to. So I crossed over that, and my grandfather was like very proud of me, and he got me like, I think, some sweet or something to like get over my fear. I can climb that bitch easily, even though like as a kid it looked frightening. I was like, oh, this has bars to hold on, and there were plenty of kids around me that I was like, okay, I was getting some confidence. Normal monkey bars, those semicircular ones or even the rectangle ones, I'm not fucking with them. Sorry, I'm 20, I'm still not fucking with them. I don't care if like they're my height, I don't trust them. There is inherently, I just don't trust something about them. I don't like it. Oh, there were the ones which were like, I don't know how to describe them, the ones which were like a honeycomb shape. Those ones were fine because, again, things to hold on to, like side and then up as well. I would just go up, sit on top, and look at people because I was like, this is my world. And again, I didn't have any friends, and I didn't want to get dirty, and I didn't want to get injuries. So I would sit on top and I would just look at everyone, and I would just people watch. And then my mom would be like, what are you doing up there? I'm realizing how much I worried my mom by being a strange child. Last on the list. This is, by the way, not an exhaustive list of every park equipment because I'm not gonna do that. And I'm gonna do like shorter videos instead of like, hour-long video of talking about like whatever new manga series I read. But this is the last one I'm gonna talk about: the merry-go-round. Now, again, this comes in the categories. The ones which were built for toddlers, usually operated by adults, right? Small seats, pretty safe, nothing's gonna happen. When you bring in the merry-go-rounds that can be operated by people, sitting on there, and like they can push themselves off and sit on there, basically the ones which can be run by the kids themselves, we have run into a problem. Because again, see above points about how kids like to defy the laws of nature and kids like to try shit that nobody else has ever tried before. So I was so deathly afraid that I will get on there, and because usually it was like an unspoken system of like one kid will push and the other people will ride, because there would always be one kid who was like, oh, I don't want to ride, I just want to push this thing with all my force. There would always be one kid who was like, can I push it? And then they would be like, oh, do you want your turn? No, I just want to push it, I just want to watch it spin. Props to that kid, by the way, because that kid usually made everybody else's lives so much more easier, because they would just get to sit in, and both of them, everyone would be having fun. So that kid would be pushing, and I was like, I'm afraid I'm gonna fly off. I am afraid I'm gonna fly off. And because a merry-go-round is such an integral part of like the human experience, so even if nobody else, like, if like teenagers are in the park, or if like a few adults have just wandered in doing just like stupid young adult shit, a merry-go-round is like easily open to most people. Now I'm not talking about the toddler ones, I'm mean the ones which are like flat so anybody can stand on them. Those ones can easily be exploited by like anybody, right? So usually they would be pretty worn down, and it would always be squeaking. I have never fucking gotten a merry-go-round that was not squeaking to death. Never. And if the park equipment is making noises, I'm not gonna get on there. I'm terrified. Hello. Again, this is thoughts when I had when I was a kid. Merry-go-round squeaking, it's an out. Also, after I grew up a bit more at the age 17, or actually from age 14 itself, I constantly had fainting spells. I still, oh wow. Basically, from the age of 14 to even now, I have fainting spells. Fully not sure the reason, but vasovagal attacks, syncope, so just like it just gets triggered by like the sight of blood or like too much motion. I legitimately cannot like spin in a circle while looking at the ceiling like how people do, because I will faint. I will just faint. So as a kid, maybe I just had that and I didn't realize it, because if I was the merry-go-round, I would start panicking and I would be like, get me out of here. Because I think I would like starting to feel like I was fainting. So merry-go-rounds in general, I would like not go on there. But now I'm like, merry-go-rounds are so scary to me even now, because I'm so afraid like a child is gonna get hurt on those. And and merry-go-rounds were always built in vicinity of a place that like if someone were, God forbid, going to go and hit their head on there, that person would end up with a concussion at least, or like a pretty severe injury. It's always the merry-go-round behind the building of my school. Horrible place for the park to be, by the way, especially when the place behind school is like maybe a driving lane wide, and you put a fucking merry-go-round there. Maybe like 3 meters away from the merry-go-round is the solid wall of the huge school building. So if you fly off and centrifugal force like fucks you up, you're gonna get so extremely hurt. And I think at some point the adults there also realized that, yeah, this is gonna get us sued, so they tore down the park, and now it's like, I think, parking space or something for kids to bring their like cycles and everything. Also, by the way, what is up with schools renovating as soon as you leave? I left my school, and my school is the same one my sibling goes to. So I left, and then my sister was calling me and telling me, oh yeah, they built like a lift. And I was like, they built a fucking lift? For 12 years I had to climb up and down with that huge ass bag, and they built a lift, which by the way is not accessible to everyone. God forbid it is accessible to everyone. And they're maybe opening like a canteen or something as well. And they changed the basketball court while I was in the last years of my high school. So when my seniors came back as alumni, they were like, they built a basketball court here. And I said, yeah. And they were like, why did they do this after we left? Because it was sand at first. You were expected to play on sand and gravel. Horrible. I mean, it's concrete now. That's not much better. But like, they, instead of being it like, we're gonna have it be natural and nature, then they realized nature means much more kids getting injured and you getting sued by their parents. So then they were like, we're gonna make everything concrete. Anyways, that's the end of this video. I just really had a intense thoughts about park equipment, and I was like, I need to tell somebody about this. So I just recorded this video. I'm probably not gonna do a December reads what I read, because let's just say mentally I wasn't fully there in that month, and while I did read a lot of books, it's all gone from my memory. So we're gonna just do a January reads one instead, and then this video for when I finally edit it, which I probably will after I finish my dissertation. Oh my god. Okay, bye.